Good morning, lunatics. Welcome to Morning Java. Morning Java brought to you, as always, Taylor, by our good friends at the Get-Go Cafe and Market, where there are no Red Wings enjoying fish sandwiches with us on this Java. There are none. There's none. She didn't like it, guys. She looked like she liked it, but no cutouts this time. What we do have, though, is a complete reciprocal of the final score up in Detroit.
Yeah.
Penguins win 4-1, and they clinch.
Finally, it seems like maybe they were under a little bit of pressure last game, just that they haven't gotten over that hump, haven't clinched, and then finally today Kessel breaks out and then 13th consecutive playoff appearance streak.
Yeah, and Kessel was kind of asked, like, is this the part in the season where you ramp it up? You're known for scoring some big goals here, but he just kind of shrugged off every question in typical Phil fashion.
As he does, yeah. And then, they asked Mike Sullivan about, how do you put into perspective 13 straight appearances? I think, fans here maybe take it for granted that, because that's just the bare minimum, that's the expectation, playoffs. But 13, that's crazy. And he said, it starts from the top down, the way Mario and Ron run the team.
Yeah, we've seen it get close a couple of times over that 13 seasons. This never felt close. They were sitting on 97 points before this game. I heard Sidney Crosby say the other day he couldn't believe that they hadn't clinched.
Yeah.
They're at 99 points now. You always kind of expected them to get into the playoffs. Obviously, a much better team than they were at sometimes when they just snuck in, but...
Yeah, the division and the conference are just so tight. They still don't know who they're going to be playing in the first round, whether they're going to have... where they're gonna be. They're gonna be scoreboard watching a bit. They said that's what Murray said. Because they're gonna pay attention to it a little bit more moving forward.
Yeah, we'd like to know where we're gonna be too.
Yeah.
Taylor, you've seen the Red Wings now in back-to-back games. You were covering. Well, you covered the whole series for us, if you will, the back-to-back. I look at Detroit and I see, to an extent, the Islanders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're both very fast teams. I saw a lot of people saying, Detroit has nothing to play for, but, they have a lot to play for.
Yeah.
All the young guys, they're playing for their jobs.
Those Griffins you were talking about.
Yeah, the Grand Rapids Griffins. They're not just sitting back, and they're so young. They're very, very fast. And, that's what really got the Penguins into trouble last game. They handled that much better this game. I just think of, the first penalty kill when Gensel was in the box.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't give the Griffins. I was going to say the Griffins. They didn't give the Red Wings an opportunity to use that speed. They just kept breaking everything up.
No. I liked, a lot. And I was just over on the Red Wings side talking to a couple of their people about this. It's Dylan Larkin, it's Tyler Bertuzzi, it's Andreas Athanasiou, who was unbelievable, by the way, in this game.
Last game, too. And, a few players last game singled him out as, one of the fastest guys. He is.
He had the contract holdout and everything last summer, and a lot of people rolled their eyes about it, but he has proven to be that. And I just think that probably as soon as next season, you're going to see people talking about the Red Wings as next year's Islanders. You know what I mean? A team that nobody expected.
Come out of nowhere. They just have so many young guys. The future is definitely bright there. And, you knew that because I've been following, the Griffins, during the season. They've been great all season. And they've just been stockpiling prospects the past few years. Yeah, it's no surprise that they're doing this well at this point.
What I liked out here was that the Penguins recognized in Detroit that the Red Wings were doing a lot of flying up the middle of the rink, the vertical middle of the rink. And they just said, you know what? You might beat us to our zone, but it won't be up the middle.
Yeah.
So those guys the Red Wings, even their fast guys, were forced to go wide. They had to take a longer route. And it worked out really well for the Penguins. And maybe this is some kind of template for how to play the Islanders.
Yeah.
Phil Kessel. Filled the net, scored 2 goals.
Filled the net.
Filled the hands of the stands with some Big Macs.
He made people's hearts filled with happiness and their arteries filled with something else.
It's very filling start to this segment here.
You know what? The other night, he was walking out of the building, and I just made some kind of remark to him, casual thing, it looks like your game's starting to come around a little bit and whatever. And I get one of these from him. I can't do a great Phil, but he goes, hey, man, you know how it is. And the funny thing is, I actually got it. I knew what he meant. He meant it's that time of year. It's this, and he wasn't even referring to himself. He was referring to the whole team. They all played a really smart, solid game.
Yeah, no, I liked most of what the whole team did. I mean, you guys were talking about the guy who I can't say his name.
Athanasiou, just like it looks, man.
Yeah, just like it looks. You know, he cross-checked Goodbranson behind the play.
What was that?
I don't know, but he got him a couple of
Can
good
we
times.
digress? 2 of the Red Wings went after Goodbranson in this game. I haven't seen anybody go after Goodbranson since he's been a Penguin until this game.
What I liked was that it was happening to him. He made the choice whether he was going to respond, and he did. He jawed with him on the bench for a little bit.
But he didn't lose his mind.
No, he didn't lose his mind. He kept cool. He kept that.
I like that,
I love
though.
the way
That's
that he
a good
skates.
sign.
He's like forward, and he does these big C cuts, and he just glides, you know? And he's just cool like that all the time in the game.
But that's good. That's what you want out of your tough guy going into the playoffs.
Right. He stayed smart. You can't have a defenseman taking himself off the ice and away from the play.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, there were just so many things like that throughout the game where the team played smart. It wasn't just the goal scoring.
No,
it wasn't the shots.
And it was good, and it's also good that it somehow ended up parlaying into Phil looking like Phil, shooting the puck first. And, you know, it just, all of these other things, Sunday, I've been writing about this. Like, I feel like I've written the same column like 100 times this season. Everything feeds off what they do in the back. All of them. And you saw all of them come back.
Yeah, I mean, we're going into game 82. I feel like we've seen it all, you know. I write about Sidney Crosby going into the net the other night, and then he scores a goal just going into the net. He took his entire body into the net. You know, it feels like there's nothing left to see in this regular season. I'm glad they clinched so that we can just, you know, start to...
Did you get a shot of Sid in the net when he went in?
I mean, I got him in the net.
You know what's
it's
funny?
not like...
You know what's the only reason I ask is because all those other guys were outside the net celebrating with each other, and the guys are Sid who scored the goal.
They noticed
still in the net, and Sid's like, guys, hey.
They actually went over, helped pick him up, bring him out of the net. Here's where you hear the pouring coffee, and that's Java.